We're going to have a talk about control, what the communists fear, what actually hurts them. We'll do that tonight. It is Cinco de Mayo. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the big, beautiful bill, all that and more coming up on I'm Right. So first, remember that the communist believes in controlling everything. Everything has to be controlled. That's the only way you can sell the misery and destruction that he's trying to sell. You have to control what people can see, what people can hear, what people can say, where people can go. It's all about control, all right? You have to get that about these people to get anything else. That's one. Two, they don't look at institutions the way you look at institutions. And if you think they do, if you find yourself saying or even thinking things like, well, we all want the same things in the end, you've already lost. Honestly, you're completely useless. If you think like that, you start out in such a poor direction that you can never get back on the right road. The road is heading that way, and if you say, well, we all kind of want the same things, you're heading that way and we'll never meet. You're gone. All right? Get it through your head. They don't look at institutions the way you look at institutions. For instance, the United States military. You see, the United States military has roughly 3 million people. It's less than that, but not much less, 2.8, give or take. But 2.8 million people in the United States military. Now, when you think about the military, what do you think about? You think about bravery, courage, defending the country. When there's a veteran introduced at the local baseball game, you stand up, don't you? Probably take off your hat, salute, say hi, woo, love you, respect you. That's how you think of the military. You look at people, Army, Navy, Marine Corps. You look at these people and you think to yourself, wow, that's really cool. They're giving up pieces of themselves, putting their life on the line, defend all the things you think about the military. The communist doesn't think any of those things at all. None. Zero. Zip. To the communist, he sees 3 million people who can be controlled. 3 million government employees, but not just government employees in the military. They have to do what they're told. They have to sit and listen when you talk. They have to speak the way you want them to speak. The communist views the American military as a gigantic opportunity. A gigantic opportunity to control 3 million people, a gigantic opportunity to control vast quantities of money and power. So back to kind of what I talked about in the beginning, you can always tell what the communist cares about. It's what makes him squeal the loudest. There's a couple things that you should probably put in your back pocket that the communists have really, really pitched a fit about. I would almost say 3 big things since Trump won the election. The first one of those things was Matt Gaetz becoming Attorney General. That was just a bridge too far. I'll tell you what, we'll come back to that one. Second thing has been illegal immigration, mass deportation. Why do you think that is? Everything else Donald Trump is doing, but the American media is really concerned about illegals being deported. And third, Pete Hegseth. They can't get enough of trashing Pete Hegseth. Every single day, all day, Hegseth this, Hegseth that, Hegseth this. This is not some 24-hour storyline. This is very clearly something they are hot on. Trump just sat down with Kristen Welker for some strange reason. Here's how it went.
Are you looking for a new Secretary of Defense, Mr.
No,
President?
not even a little bit. No. Pete's going to be great.
His job is safe right now?
We're doing a fantastic job against the Houthis, who like blowing ships up and watching them sink in the ocean. We're hitting them very hard. No, he's doing a very good job.
His job is safe right now?
Totally safe.
Yeah. We see what she's doing. You're not naive. I see it. You see it. But let's set aside the job he's doing for a moment and have a very, very sober, very real conversation. When I was just talking about the military a couple minutes ago, and I said, 3 million people under communist control and all that, did you think I was talking about past tense things? That's how it used to be. Now, it used to be this way, but now Trump's in charge. Now Pete Hegseth has taken over. Now we got things squared away. Did you think that Did you think that Dick Levine and all his little dicks are gone?
Hello, I'm Admiral Rachel Levine. Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on the physical and mental health of Black communities. Black Americans are more likely than white Americans to live in areas and housing that increase their susceptibility to climate-related health issues. And 65% of Black Americans report feeling anxious about climate change's impact. Through our Office of Climate Change and Health Equity and the Office of Environmental Justice, we're working with providers and community leaders to identify innovative approaches that empower communities to address the health consequences linked to climate change.
Oh, I know Dick Levine personally is gone, but I wasn't talking about past tense when it comes to the military. Guys like that have been put into place for about 15 years now, 15, 20 years now. The American communist has been putting little dicks like that all over the United States military, top to bottom. Generals, admirals, NCOs, staff NCOs, a 3 million person army. I know it's more than just the army, but a 3 million person army with communism buried, rooted into every single solitary part of it. Did you think it was just the media out for Hegseth? The Defense Department's out for Hegseth. They're now running stories with all kinds of anonymous sources about Hegseth can't do this, Hegseth can't do that. I am here to talk to you about something very, very frank. The state of the United States military is frightening beyond belief. There is more clean out necessary there than you can possibly fathom. And it makes things like this, when Trump talks about this in the budget, it makes me worry.
We have great things happening with our military. We also essentially approved a budget, which is in the facility, you'll like to hear this, of $1 trillion, $1 trillion. And nobody's seen anything like it. We have to build our military, and we're very cost conscious, but the military is something that we have to build, and we have to be strong because you got a lot of bad forces out there now. So we're going to be approving a budget, and I'm proud to say, actually, the biggest one we've ever done for the military.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and trash Trump for what he's doing, because I understand he has what borders on an impossible situation, you see. He has to clean out these organizations while at the same time run these organizations. We have to protect American power worldwide. I understand all that. But handing the United States military $1 trillion is like handing a heroin addict $10,000. It's only going to go towards bad things. We are in a crisis situation in the military currently. Remember when Mike Benz came on the show, talked about it?
Oh, it's super nasty. And I am very reticent about $1 trillion Pentagon budget. If you're going to do something like that, do it in year 2 after you've got a massive reorg at the Pentagon that shows reform at a fundamental level. I would like to see the Pentagon come out and match the State Department's reorganization project and say that they've cut 150 agencies. The fact is the Pentagon is where the real money is. This is a massive, massive problem, and by some counts, the Street reported a $35 trillion accounting black hole in the Pentagon back in 2020. If those numbers are true, that would be larger than the entire U.S. national debt, just with the amount of money that's gone missing from the Pentagon.
Back to what we were talking about at the beginning. Why is it that there are 3 really big things the communists are focused on? They wanted to stop Matt Gaetz, and they did. Now we have Pam Bondi. Things have been moving slow at the Justice Department, right? Anyway, moving on past that. They want to keep all the illegals here. Weird how committed they are to that. And they want the head of Pete Hegseth. Now, let me just piggyback this with a little story from the State Department. State Department analyst under Joe Biden, $650,000 in fraud in a 2-year span. $650,000. Pleaded guilty, $650,000. That's at the State Department. Now, I want you to think for a moment about the State Department's budget. The numbers don't matter, so forget about that. Forget about the numbers. Let's use a visual representation. That's the State Department's budget. That's the budget of the United States military. One person was writing themselves checks for $650,000. Do you have any earthly idea how many criminals are currently being paid by the United States military? And it's not waste. Stop letting them get away with that. Theft. The largest criminal organization on the planet is the United States government, and maybe the most sinister part of that organization is the United States military as of right now. Why do you think they want Hegseth gone so badly? Why do you think they're so concerned with that? The communist tells you what he truly fears. He tells you all the time. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.